Alright, blast beat technique. I'm gonna assume that you already know the sticking you want to use, whether you're doing, alternating blasts or all together, or whatever you're doing. I'm gonna assume that you know the sticking between the hands and the feet. So, first thing, for the snare hand, I typically always go French grip, which is thumbs up, mainly fingers, not a lot of room to use the wrist. I think it's better for the snare hand because you don't really use accents on the snare during blast beats, or at least I don't. There is a German grip version of this technique that allows for accents that's just as usable on the snare. I just personally go for the French, it's easier for me. So the idea is you want to find the fulcrum of your stick, wherever the stick bounces the best. I'm using some kind of marching sticks, Ralph something, I think. It's long since worn off, but for me the fulcrum's somewhere around the R, the Vic, where it says Firth. So you always want to kind of have that as your fulcrum point. It's especially with a technique like this, it's pretty much entirely rebound based. So when I'm going, when I'm going for the snare hand, I almost always use French grip. So it's thumbs up, with your fingers kind of opposite of your thumb on the opposite side. You want to. This is kind of the motion. If you can see, I'm using my finger. My fingers are opening up and then just like snapping the stick back in. And it kind of just rolls along your thumb. So that would look kind of like this. I'm just using the pads of my fingers to push stick back up. Trying to keep that thumb on top. I'm not perfect at this, but yeah, keeping that thumb on top. Wrist motion, as you can see, is fairly minimal, pretty much non-existent, other than, I'm not putting any effort into it. So this is pretty much, if you're going to transfer this into German grip, that's all it is really. It's the same motion, but now the stick is kind of coming back to in the same direction as the top of your hand. So that'll look like this. So French, German. The German version is a lot more open to wrist involvement. As you can see, like I can get something going on, but it's not a bunch, as opposed to this, where I can kind of get like a 50-50 split in finger and wrist control. I use that a lot more on whatever hand I'm playing the cymbal on. So if I'm doing, say, I'm blasting on the ride and I want to do accent patterns, I can kind of do something like this, like. Get accents on the bell, you can do it on the hi-hats, whatever. It's pretty much all the same thing. So that's pretty much it. Just if you're going to do this in French, which I typically do for the snare, remember to keep your thumbs up, fingers on the opposite side of it, and just use your fingers to bounce the stick. And the same thing with German. Just use your fingers to bounce the stick, but now your palm is facing down. A good exercise that I use to build this up is you can do kind of groups of 8 or 16, alternating, and then the same length, just one hand, and then switch your lead. So doing it slowly, something like this, like. So when I'm doing that up to speed and practicing it, it would be something like this. just alternate back and forth, switching your leads, and it's a really good way to build up both your hands on their own as well as together, leading both left and right. So hopefully this helps. If there's any questions, just let me know. Thanks.